Well, switching gears now to Angola, where amidst tight security, Angola's President Lourenco has been sworn in for a second term in office in the nation's capital, Luanda. Lourenco's ruling party, the People's Movement for the Liberation of Angola, MPLA, was declared the winner of the August 24 vote by the National Electoral Commission after garnering 51.17% of the vote. His new deputy, Esperança Maria da Costa, a 61-year-old college professor and biologist, was also sworn in, becoming Angola's first female vice president. Angola's main opposition party, the National Union for the Total Independence of Angola, headed by Adalberto Costa Jr., who received 43.95% of the vote, claimed the vote was marked by irregularities and boycotted the ceremony. The inauguration coincided with this year's International Democracy Day, which focuses on the importance of media freedom to democracy, peace, and delivering on sustainable development goals. Now, joining us to discuss this and more, we have Jose Gama, a journalist and political expert who joins from Pretoria in South Africa. We also have Jimbo, Executive Director, Angolan Institute for Electoral System Democracy. He joins us from the Angolan capital, Luanda. A warm welcome to you, gentlemen. Thanks for joining us on the conversation.
Good afternoon,
sir. Thank you. It's my pleasure to be with you and Gama and your audience.
We're happy to have you. I'd like to start with you, Louis. What's your assessment of this year's elections and the performance of the Electoral Commission? Would you say Angolan democracy has come of age, or there's still a lot more to be desired?
Yeah, we have this challenge to improve the democracy. Of course, we have been improving a regular election with stability since 2008. But this question regarding with the organized election through Electoral Commission, of course, we are not improving and comparing with the other sector. Example, the one big issue during the fourth election has been 90% addressing with how the Electoral Commission has been conducting the process without the inclusion. Example, didn't including a civil society organization to conducting a civic education, has been reducing the number of the electoral observers for the country. So each NGO that for this was the first time that each NGO just was to apply three observers. Three observers.
So why is it important to have observers? Does it give the exercise some sort of legitimacy? And have civil society and NGO groups monitor this process?
Yeah, in particular in Angola, and we are not talking about the monitor, because the monitor has a right to complain when they identify some issues regarding the law. That we as the observer, we have a right to provide a declaration of the process. And the most important with a number of observers is to conduct a PVT, a parallel vote counting, because the observer has a right to be on a polling station and to follow all procedure and result on the election process. And through this presence in a polling station, so the observer can declare and publish the parallel vote count. So with 3 observers for each province to be present and to do the PVT compared with 26,000 of a polling station. So it's impossible.
It's very impossible. Thank you, Louis. Let me bring in Jose. Jose, foreign observers from other parts of Africa praised the peaceful conduct of the polls, but raised concerns over the press freedom and the accuracy of the electoral roll. In your opinion, how would you assess the performance of the Electoral Commission, and in what ways can Angola improve its electoral process looking into the future?
Good evening. Good afternoon. So in South Africa, it's already 6 o'clock.
It's
So
evening here too.
actually, this was the 50th election after the peace accord in Angola, and in this election, 60% of the youth votes for the first time. The big voters from 18 to 24. So it looks like there was a big challenge that the youth want to change. And in other way, in other hands, we got a problem, a very big issue with the National Commission, Electoral Commission in Angola, because the way it is structured, it is controlled by the ruling party, the MPLA. It's like the board of these institutions. It's composed with 17 people, and most of them are from the ruling party MPLA. So what happened is that before a week before the election, they approved a new regulation for the scrutineer's room, so allowing only two members of the boards to have access on this. So that means that only two people that have access to these rooms, so that means that they could release any results they want for the ruling party. Actually, even before the election, the ruling party, the TV, have already announced that the MPLA would win with the 60%, and UNITA would have like 30%. They say they did a survey, and you know that in Angola, like when we have election, a week before, we already know that what are going to be the results, because the MPLA shows on the televisions the survey. They say that's going to be the
final result.
Actually the results. So in actually this happens also in this election. So what happened is that for the first times there was a new law saying that the final reports from the poll station would be published on the wall. And what happened is that the people approached this poll station. They took a photograph and they start sharing. And this was starting showing that UNITA, the second party,
Yes.
was improving. It was like UNITA was looking like was becoming the winner. So, but at the end of the day, they announced that the ruling party was the winner. So what happened now? President Lourenco was declared as the winner, and UNITA is not recognizing as a legitimated president, and they appeal to the court. So another problem that we also have in Angola is that the courts, the court is also controlled by
this is where I want to come in, Jose. UNITA said these elections were not free and fair and took the election to the Constitutional Court, calling for a recount and a comparison of the official results with their own counts, citing irregularities such as an estimated 2.7 million dead voters on the electoral register, the role of the Spanish election logistics company Indra, amongst others. We saw a similar situation play out in Kenya, and it was televised to the whole world, where the Supreme Court did give reasons for the judgment, but we didn't see such a thing in Angola. Were these issues judiciously addressed by the court, or as you said, is the court also controlled by MPLA?
As I was saying, the court is controlled by the MPLA. Like the courts, we do have like 11 members, 11 justices, and 11 and 9 of them. One of them, the president is appointed by President Lourenco, and others are appointed by the ruling party. And the ruling party is led by President Lourenco. It looked like UNITA let's say that UNITA appealed to the courts. UNITA was appealing for the recounts of the votes. So the court says there's no law. They say it's not allowed by law. So that's the answer from the courts. So UNITA also before yesterday, was trying to appeal again, but the courts refused. So UNITA decides not to recognize President Lourenco, but they will right now, they will join the National Assembly, the parliament, to become a member of parliament, and they will transport this electoral fight to the parliament. So in order to the parliament create like a commission that will be able to investigate the votes. So I think that's going to be the biggest challenge to UNITA.
Okay, thank you very much, Jose. Now, Louis, President Lourenco is a former general. He was defense minister under long-term President Jose Eduardo dos Santos. And how would you rate his first term in office, and what are your expectations for his second term, this new tenure?
You know that we have a big challenge to improve the democracy through election by election. And one of them, of course, we started with when the João Lourenco has been replaced, the former president, Jose Eduardo dos Santos. But the challenge now is we have a situation through this election that the competition has been very high. We mean João Lourenco win with a 51%, and UNITA has been, we say, win with a 43%, more than 44%. But, you know, this election was not clear who was the winner, of course, because the system, how he re-elected the president, become the numbers of sittings in a National Assembly. And you know, this is a proportional system that who give the number of sitting. So we are in a situation like, you know, Bush and Al Gore, Tsvangirai and Mugabe.
Mugabe.
This is the problem of the system that we have put in place, because the system must be clear. The winner must be clear for the executive branch. So now the challenge is how and in this situation that UNITA, opposition leader, has about 14.4% of its supporter. How the João Lourenco will include these leaders with a high percentage of the support and during this rallying power. So this is because we are assuming that this is the last term of João Lourenco, but from UNITA and Adalberto Costa Jr. is not the last. He can run for the next one in 2017. So how this will be included? This is why I was very expecting, and this speech to be more about reconciliation, to willing to accepting that the competition period of the election has been concluded, and now they need to address negotiation, a common ground solution to face the real trade of the Angolan, that is a job,
the economy
without a job, this is a big challenge with a kind of support that has Adalberto. And the last term of João Lourenco, how will this Gama will negotiate to eliminate and to the real trade and poverty and job and the economic recession and so we are very expectation, because I didn't see that in this speech, and João Lourenco and even in Adalberto, he didn't win this summer. So this means the competition, adversity, no dialogue still in place. but the challenge is still there, that those leaders need to respond the youth demand, because youth and women demand are demanding for the political solution, for the economic situation, for growth, our life. So, yeah, we are expecting. I'm expecting how will be.
Now, Jose, looking at Angola, Angola is one of the most mineral-rich. It has enormous oil and gas deposits, but this doesn't really trickle down to the ordinary people. Quite a huge percentage of its population lives below the poverty line. Now, economic development and social welfare was listed on the top of the agenda of President João Lourenco's priorities. What are your expectations from this, looking at how he performed in his first term in office and also looking at global economic realities?
One of the challenges for President Lourenco is going to be the creating more jobs, because 60% of the youth, the rate of unemployment is like 60%. I mean, we do have 60% of the youth on the line of unemployment, and that's one going to be the very biggest challenge for President Lourenco. And we could see also in this election, the main opposition that he faced, it was not UNITA, but the youth. So those youth that was born after
the war,
after 2020, after 1992, the time that Angolan organized the first election. And the president, those youths, they've got access to internet, they've got access to televisions, and they've got a spirit of democratic. And the problem of the President Lourenco and the APLA, they still rule in Angola as a kind of single party systems, and they're facing this is to make the President Lourenco and the youth in the opposite sides. So now President Lourenco is facing this. In 2017, President Lourenco promised more openness of space, pluralism, rule of states, and during those 5 years, and he failed. So he blamed and he says he couldn't deliver because of the COVID. So right now, yesterday, the president on the first speech he was delivering. So people noticed that before he promised a municipality election, but right now he refused. It looks like he refused to accept. He refused to accept and organize a municipality election, because people now realizing that we must develop the country, and one of the sources to develop the country must be definitely the municipality election. I think this is one of the challenges of the president and Lourenco. That's going to be his last term. It's because in 2027 we're going to have a new election. Adalberto Costa Jr. from UNITA will still standing, and Lourenco will no longer be there. And one of the goods that we do also have on this election is that we're going to have like a balanced parliament. So that's going to be the guarantee that they won't change the constitution for the third term of the president. I think this is one of the goodest.
Because there's a balanced parliament. You have UNITA and MPLA members. I'd like to say a big thank you to you, gentlemen. Jose Gama from Pretoria, South Africa, and Louis Jimbo. Thank you very much for your time and contribution to the conversation today. I do appreciate your insight.
Thank you.
Okay, and this is where we draw the anchor on today's conversation. In the first half of the show, we did talk about political development in the Republic of South Africa, where the Parliament has composed a panel to investigate the Phala farm scandal involving President Cyril Ramaphosa. And we just talked about President João Lourenco's inauguration for his second term in office. Thank you very much for being a part of the conversation. I am Gbenga Aborowa. Bye-bye.